Well, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everybody. It depends what time you're tuning in today. Welcome to the world according to Sam Marshall. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to introduce to you today Kevin Matthew. Kevin is a man of many talents and has several strings to his bow. So, we're going to have a chat today about changes and how that impacts us. So, without further ado, Kevin, I'm going to throw to you.
Well, I suppose, thank you very much for that lovely introduction, by the way. That's probably the kindest anyone's been. Um, I suppose I like what you've said there, like the bows and the strings, and because that's kind of the underlying thing that I'd love to talk about today, and that is that the world of work is changing, and those strings and those bows have actually been the reason why my wife and I have managed to, I suppose, ride that wave of change. And when I say change, I mean, um, you can't hide the fact that things are not easy in the world at the moment. But one kind of poignant element of that is that nothing's safe.
No.
What was deemed as being safe is no longer safe. And that over the period of years and the course of the years has actually changed the way we think as human beings, as to work in itself. And we are no longer as loyal
Mm,
as we were. But the world of work is changing, and the key element and the end point I want to put across is that more and more people will look for secondary incomes, supplementary incomes, additional incomes. If you look at the States, there some of them have got two, three, four income streams because they have to. And my prediction is, in the course of the following 5 to 10 years, people will have to have that. And I think it's the middle to, that middle band of people who are sitting pretty, but either mortgages have gone through the roof, which you'll know all about,
yeah.
or something's happened in the workplace.
And Kevin, absolutely fascinating. So, wind back about, oh, crikey, could be as far back as 2015.
Yeah.
And I wrote a blog in January that said next Monday is Blue Monday. And it was all talking about it was the first, because January is always a 6-year month, isn't it?
Yeah.
You, you've probably spent all of your December salary in December, and January is a nightmare. And the third Monday in January is when the credit card bill comes. And there was some research that had been done at the time, and some big names went under. Woolworths went under, really huge names. And I revisit this blog every year and I roll it out every year with no apology. I just say to people, here it is again. But this year, these are the names that have gone. Now, I started my self-employment journey in 2013. I also started my network marketing journey in 2013. And at the time, that those who were the trainers, the thought leaders of the time, said you must focus on one course of action until success. So back then, it was one thing only. You cannot do more than one thing. You cannot do it well. And I think there are still people out there who tell you that, but they are the people that have been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Multiple streams of income.
Yeah. 100%. And it doesn't need to be, because I mean, I'm so glad you mentioned the word network marketing, because Again, what is network marketing? I've just written an article on LinkedIn about the whole thing about this. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme and all that. I'm not going to go into details about that, but that's proper old school. I mean, come on, let's just move on. Eh? Let's fast forward a bit, yeah? There's regulations and all sorts going on here in the world now. You know, if you've got a problem, just research it and you'll soon know whether the company's legit or not. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm going to come off of my high horse, because you've touched on the point of network marketing, which doesn't need to be this multi-million-pound money earner for you. It doesn't. Like, I think you're utility warehouse. Is that right?
Yes, I am. I am several, but that is one of them.
So let's say you're utility warehouse, just for the time being, which is a household name. I'll have you that. Now, I am travel, so I've got a travel income stream. Now, I might just say, actually, I don't want utility warehouse as a network marketing income stream, but there's a product there.
Absolutely.
Hence, it's legitimate, right? Because you need to have a product, or it would be a pyramid scheme. And likewise, you would say, well, I go on holiday all the time. I'm just going to use it for myself. I'm not interested in that. But you know what the beautiful thing about network marketing is, whether it's Tropic or Pharmacy or UW or, I've researched loads of them now, is the fact that there's options.
Yeah.
And people are going to need options.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, in terms of the one avenue, well, I'm talking to people from United Utility Warehouse who have got a customer base who go on holiday. So why not educate the customer base that they can go on holiday for cheaper, or they can make earnings from their holidays, but then they would make an additional stream. Doesn't need to be thousands, could be hundreds.
And I think there's a huge misconception. So network marketing was previously called multi-level marketing, and everything you have just said, people are very scared by it. I actually do right now, as we sit here, Avon. That has been going for 168 years, probably. Everyone knows Ding Dong, Avon calling.
Even I know.
Yeah, but that was the original multi-level marketing. Utility warehouse, product, electric, utilities, and builder distributorship. IAD estate agency is a network market. You see, I knew you didn't know that. I can actually build a team underneath me who want to do what I do. Now, I'll slightly go off and then I'll pull it back for you. Things that shocked me in the last decade were finding out that things like Subway was a franchise. I thought that was owned by one person and everybody worked for them. It's not. It's a franchise model. Costa Coffee is a franchise model. In fact, if you drive the service stations, you and I probably do the M6 quite a lot, I would have thought, and the M74. If you're in and out of those service stations, anything you see in there is a franchise. Now, for our watchers who don't know the difference, a franchise will cost you a fairly hefty sum up front, and we're probably talking 5, potentially 6 figures up front. You are then tied to buying product from that franchisee, and you then have to give a proportion of your profits back to that. Actually, it's franchisor, is it not franchisee? Apologies.
That's right.
So, network marketing is very different because the costs for getting involved at the front end are very different. Now, I want to come back to holidays and what you said about you can do this just for yourself and get yourself a cheaper holiday. I think that's really important because I'm actually quite frightened of trying to book a holiday myself now because I don't know whether website A is legit. So I've swung from I don't need a travel agency, I can do it myself because I'm clever, to actually I'm not clever and I now need someone. And that's where you come in for me perfectly.
Yeah.
But also, who doesn't like going on holiday?
No.
Why would you not have people working with you?
Well, here's a cracker for you as well, right? Because you've just mentioned the word franchisee, franchisor, and network marketing. So we have a travel booking platform that we're part of. Okay, it's a global, 146,000 people use it. The cost to entry is extremely low. It's £142 to get your APTA qualification, your access to this business in a box, because you are an independent travel agent, whether it's for your own travel. You're completely licensed and you're completely insured. There's franchise companies, I'm not mentioning any, that will cost you £6,500 upwards,
Oh,
but it gets better. So we've got what we call as a 70-30 split. So what that means is when you're a travel agent, you have what we call a host company. That host company, like in the mortgage world, does everything. They are the underwriters, like they'll underwrite everything. They'll do all of the negotiations with the hotel, make sure everything's put together. And we, as I suppose, brokers, for want of an easier word, we will search, find, allocate holiday, and then pass on. So we get 70% of the overall commission back, and they'll get 30%. With the other franchise companies, it's something in the region of 60 to 65%. But ours go up. So the more we sell travel-wise, it goes up to then 80%. So not only have we got this network marketing model whereby we can become our own travel agents at that 142 quid training fee and the thousands, but also every holiday that we then book, even if it's for ourselves, we get more of a return.
and that is phenomenal. It's Small Business Week this week as we record this. You're actually going to go out in a few weeks' time, but as we record this, it is the 2nd of June. It is Small Business Week. And there's lots of information going out about supporting small businesses. Why is it so important? And I've gone away from, I used to say, because we do a happy dance when we get a sale, and we do a happy dance. But the thing is, I think I'm probably right in saying you don't need to have hundreds of clients to actually give you a sufficient income to support your family. Whereas if you were on the high street in a high street travel agency, my guess is there would be targets for, I don't know, 50 people a day to speak to just to keep the lights on.
Yeah, and the targets is a good one because and you'll know yourself, I think it's most network marketing companies have this, is that I can take this business as far as I want to.
Yes.
Now, you said there's like 50 people to contact today. Now, if I want to reach out to that many people, I can. But if I've got a full-time job and I'm a barrister or a solicitor, I love my holidays, right? I still want a good deal. So I'm going to use the platform, right? It's just for my own travel. So I'm not going to do that salesy type thing, for want of a cliche word. I'm just going to do it for my own travel. And that's the gorgeous thing about this industry. And I wish, now you said you're with Avon and stuff. I just wish when I seen Herbalife in 1998, and I was working in David Lloyd's, I was a fitness instructor in David Lloyd's whilst I was studying, and I looked across at this banner Herbalife, and then I did my study and I moved away to Italy and did a couple of years in Italy, came back, but every time I'd come back, I'd still teach at David Lloyd's, still see this banner. Now, that person is not short of a bob or two, as we would say in Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my point of the being, my matter is that they worked that alongside their job until they didn't.
Yes.
That's the beauty. You take it alongside and you work it how you want to work it, in in any capacity that feels right to you. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I think that I believe that there is something out there for everybody. There's something that's going to really light up the room. So, utility warehouses, gas and electric, that is really not sexy in any way, shape, or form. It is in the news at the moment with energy caps and with prices and with he who shall not be named, because I start to shudder,
Yeah.
blocking off streets left, right, and centre.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more of a focus on that side of things. But do you know the joy of booking a holiday, the joy of talking to someone and saying, what would you like to do? Well, I'd like to go to Machu Picchu and I'd like to do this, that, and the other. Well, I'd like to go to Disneyland. It must be so varied. It must be so different. And I had a friend who actually did go to a high street, not estate agency, travel agency
Yeah.
quite recently, and said, "This is my budget. I just want to get away for a few days. I thought maybe a weekend in Glasgow." And they priced him a weekend in Glasgow. And they then said, "But just bear with a second. For the same price, we can fly to Portugal for 4 nights." Now, for you as a travel agent, you must have that ability as well. And that must be so satisfying for someone to go, really?
Yeah.
Rainy Glasgow, sunny Portugal, get me to Portugal.
Well, there's another point to the story, actually, because we're talking about the world of work is changing, right? We're going to come back to that, pull it back in, and say, well, right, okay, so we can book travel and we earn income, but the beautiful thing about this whole thing about secondary income is that that person actually comes up and they start researching it and they say to us, oh, can you beat this price? And do you know what I say to them? This is more and more people book holidays themselves, right? I know that you've come all the way full circle because I understand that there's companies going bust and all that sort of jazz. But those people who say, oh, can you beat the price? We turn around to them and say, do you know what? You're doing the work anyway. You are physically doing that work anyway. You're physically going onto that internet and scouring what you think is the web until you come into our travel platform, what you think is the web, right? You'll compare it with us. You'll probably book it for another agency that might not be APTA protected or at all. You don't know. You have to make sure you know that. But then you'll give them the commission. So why not just do it for yourself? So we'll then guide them and educate them on. So the travel platform, we've got over 107 suppliers that we can access, plus, and it's like a wee Netflix subscription. And on the back of that, they can either build a business because they need extra income by booking travel for other people. Yep. By earning and saving on their own travel, because it was a £3,000 holiday that's now, they've got commission back on that and they've got it for 2.7. Or by introducing it as well and building the marketing side. So many strings, the network marketing models, just so many strings, do you know?
For my viewers that don't know, can you do me a quick reason explanation of ABTA and ATOL and why they are important?
Well, I'm going to go real simple here. It's basically flights and hotels. Like, just think of it like that. So you need one for the other, one, the Association of British Travel Association, sorry. You get websites out there that haven't got both.
Right.
So my recommendation is, if you're going to a hotel and flights separately, then you need to make sure you're covered for both. And with our platform, that is what happens if you book through that.
Lovely, because I watch Rip Off Britain And I
Yeah.
see these people that have used website A and website B and have assumed that they have booked a package holiday that includes their transfers and their hotel, only to find that's not what they've done. And so I refer to website A and website B as aggregators, because
Yeah.
they've got the hotels and they pull it together and say, we can offer you this hotel totally separately, we can offer you this flight, but the two, as you've just said, are not actually joined up. So if a problem occurs, that person has no recourse to get home.
No, that just doesn't need to happen. Like, it doesn't need to happen. That is, in this day and age, it's ridiculous. Doesn't need to happen. Um, like, one of the options through the travel booking platform is that we can just package our holidays up. We can add one or two, but then we make it a complete package. But there's other options as well. Like, make sure you've got insurance. You know, like, so with all clients, if they're only wanting hotels, and you're talking to them and you're saying, but then that's the thing. You hit the point, Sam, on the fact it's like the service element, especially, like, even if it's just gas and electric, it's a service element, and you're giving them proper advice, and it's heartfelt. And that's what network marketing at the heart blows other business models out of the water, because people love people, you know. And I've went off tangent, but that's so important. The world of work is going to change in the next 10 years. More and more corporations are going to use a network marketing model. They are going to use a model of the more you do, the more you get. And everyone else, and this is a prediction. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just hearing, listening, and regurgitating what I feel is going to happen. Other corporations, they're going to do a performance-led payment structure. It's going to be, the majority of them, it's going to be, you get a baseline, and then you've got your targets. And then over the years, they'll squeeze the targets, and they'll squeeze the targets, and they'll squeeze the targets.
It's a frightening world. And I didn't look up the names before I came on. I should have had a list of names with me of the big companies that have gone.
Yeah.
But by the time this goes out, people will have just gone, well, goodness gracious, we know that such and such has just gone. And I go right back to something you said at the beginning. You know, times have changed. The times of being in an assured job has gone. Very personally to me, we lived in England, we lived in Devon, and we had a bank account with Lloyds Bank. We moved to the west coast of Scotland. Well, Lloyds Bank sort of stops at Carlisle, but then one of its franchise, well, not franchise partners, one of its group partners is the Bank of Scotland. So when we came to live here, we opened up accounts with the Bank of Scotland because it's the same. All access is great, no problem. When we moved in 2017, here we had the Clydesdale Bank, we had the TSB, we had the Bank of Scotland, and I believe there was a fourth bank, and I can't quite remember which one it was, but we had the tiny little town we're in, we had all four of them.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened was Clydesdale was taken over by Virgin.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Then the TSB closed, then Virgin closed, and the Bank of Scotland closes its doors on Friday.
Yeah,
that means that for us now, we've got a 75-mile round trip to get to a local bank, the Bank of Scotland. If we want a Virgin, that's a 200-mile round trip because we have to go to Glasgow. And I would have thought back in the day, you go into banking, you got a job for life, but you really don't have a job for life anymore. Nowhere.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen suddenly? Because this is the beautiful thing about these corporations and about big guns, shall we call them, is that they don't give you a 6 month to a year to 2 years to 3 year notice that, oh, by the way, we're just phasing out this thing we call your job. That'll just happen, by the way. That's just going to happen. And AI, what's that? How is that going to hit us? Nobody. Nobody knows. People maybe know, but we don't know.
No.
So what? And I'm going to go back to network marketing. This is because I know that it works, and I know that it's solid in the fact that you earn as you learn, and the more you do, the more you get. Right? That's the two principles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you earn as you learn how to do it. You don't need any prior experience, whether it's UW, whether it's a travel platform, whether it's Avon, because we all support each other. But the more you do and the more effort you put in, it's an effort-based thing, and that's brilliant, because that's what it kind of should be anyway. It shouldn't be just sit at your desk and get paid for doing nothing, right? But imagine starting that now and just gradually over 2 to 5 years, just growing, that income stream, which a lot of it's residual if you want to go down that, the passive, like a pension-based thing, and then being told that your job's at risk, but having that secondary income stream.
It's really important, isn't it?
I think it's the most important thing going at the moment. Because in life, building a business never happens within a month, right?
Correct.
And just because network marketing is such a low barrier to entry, right? People seem to think, boom, month 4, £1,000 a month, easy, no probs. Well, you can earn that by selling to your customers and by selling travel on our behalf. But the real growth, just like any business, takes time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm urging people to start now, no matter what company it is with.
And I think you're absolutely right. And I think it also, you attract like-minded people. Okay. Yeah. I make absolutely no bones about the fact, why have I started The World According to Sam Marshall? Why am I interviewing my network of people? Well, actually, because I've got some darned interesting people like you with a great story that I can get out there to my growing audience, but also because I want to get out there to my growing audience. And we support each other because we understand what each of us are going through.
Yeah.
There are employed roles out there that is dog eat dog, and good Lord above, I've worked in some of them and I couldn't wait to leave. So multiple streams of income, different income streams, learn as you earn. I'm a trainer by background as well. I'm all over continuous professional development.
I'm a teacher.
Yeah, I love all that. I mean, I'm actually at the moment doing my certificate in estates and letting agents level 3 through Rightmove. Other platforms are available. But I'm doing that. It's not a mandatory requirement. It's a voluntary thing that I'm doing right now. But that's taught me all about what I need to know to go out and be successful.
Yeah.
Your platform, you talk about, I imagine that there's modules out there on different countries, on flights, on best times to look at things. And I would find that utterly fascinating.
Yeah. Well,
and if I've no fascination in life, I've no zest for life.
Well, let me just give you one example, true life example of a situation whereby things change. The world of work is changing, and we mentioned the fact that things can happen, e.g. your salary stays consistent, but your mortgage goes up, right? We had a person who goes on holiday a lot, but who loved the business side of it. They've got a nice network of people, and they're good. E.g. they're trustworthy. They like to search for holidays, and they wanted to build people underneath them who liked the same, who wanted to book their own travel and stuff, right? Just before he was about to and we call it onboarding, so that we can educate him how to then use the platform, and guide him through the process. We chatted, and he went, "Oh, I'm going to just wait. Just found out that my mortgage is going up by £560 a month. Now, I can't I can't justify, this is what he said, he talked himself out of it, this is my point. I can't justify like paying the Netflix subscription. So it's £32 a month, basically, to use the travel agency, to be your own travel agent, which is unreal. Hard that all. Anyway, he went, but I know that I benefit from this. Is talking himself out. I know that I benefit from him and from it. And in fact, there's I think it's 8 months left till my mortgage is up. It's 6 to 8 months. I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it's 8 months, isn't it? You get where you get your
normally
pre-mortgage.
yeah.
8 months. So he knew it was the right thing to do. And I voice noted him after. I went, look, I'm not going to say what to do because this is your life. I said, but just know this, that you've got 8 months. You know that it's a business that you love because it's travel, and you've got so many people who you know. That little subscription thing, you wouldn't even worry about that because of the growth, and that would pay for your additional mortgage.
Is it not 6 cups of coffee?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you see, so he had an option. He had an additional income stream, right? And it's just the ability to open your mind, and we call it trust the process.
Yeah. And I think I speak to lots of my friends. One of them, absolutely, she knocked me for 6. I'd known her for years and years and years, very change resistant. At the point that we all lost a particular job, I had to really coach her through to go and get a new one. And I talked to her because back in the day I was Forever Living, and I talked to her about FLP, and she said no. And I talked to her about Utility Warehouse, and she said no. And then one day she said, I've joined one-to-one Cambridge Diet, one-to-one diet.
Yeah, I know that.
And I went, you what now? Now, this stemmed from the fact that she had been a customer. It had worked exceptionally well for her, and she decided, I can absolutely do this. And she is soaring, she is flying, Kevin. She is doing amazingly. She hasn't quite managed to convert me yet after 3 years of trying, but um, it's again that thing that lights you up. It lights her up. She's darned good at it, and she still has a day job with Department of Work and Pensions. So, I believe there is something for everyone. And I have to say this because it's been nagging in my brain since you said it. There will be people even now who are watching this that are shaking their head, and they are saying, I don't care, it's a pyramid scheme. You have already explained really well why it's not, and that is because we have the legislation that says a product or a service has to be how you make your money, not the recruitment of people and not just you paying to belong. There's a beautiful picture of a triangle. It's a pyramid. And at the top of the triangle sits the CEO of the company, the chief executive officer. And underneath, you get your layers of management and your supervisors and your team leaders and your employees. So everybody that is employed, in a way, is in a pyramid scheme, because you work your 9 to 5 in order to make the man at the top or the lady at the top much richer than you are on your £12.72 per hour. I got that played through to me many times, and the only way that I can reply is very, very similar to your reply in that, but we have a product or service. I can physically demonstrate this to you and
Yeah.
show you. And I think you were quite surprised when I said IAD estate agency is a network market. And I
Mm.
think people would be quite surprised at some of the other network markets that are out there that they see as a
Business.
brand, trusted
Yeah.
brand.
But this is what's going to happen, though. This is what I'll say it once again. Over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, this model will just be part of daily life, and you won't realize it. Like just like what's happened here, you just won't realize it. Oh, an estate agency, that can't be a network marketing. Why can it not? That's and it's going to flip.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
is going to flip. And I mean, nobody's going to be last because there's never such thing as a last. But there will be people in the coming years saying, "I wish I did. I wish I had. I wish I." Had. And you don't want to be that person.
No, that have no regrets. So Kevin, you are going to furnish me with contact details or websites or email addresses or whatever you want so that people can get in touch with you. How can they? How can they get in touch with you right now?
Well, they can give me like send me a WhatsApp. So they
Perfect.
can literally go straight to the WhatsApp. I love it. Do you know what I love? Is a conversation. I'm not
Yeah.
not a texter. I'm a voice noter or pick up the phone. So, zero double, I don't mind saying my phone number, 0770 944 7263. Pick up the phone. And do you know what's beautiful about this? And you'll have the same with your utility warehouse, is that everything is visual. I can send you a 10-minute video that shows everything about the travel booking platform. And just have a look. This is the thing that we need to get into our. I don't know what this is, a British thing or that, right? The Americans seem to be a little more open to this. Just have a look, but just have a look
Yeah.
because there's no like you're not chained afterward after you press play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's exactly it. I am going to put up a start screen, an end screen, and I'm going to cut up in the middle somewhere, and there'll be a middle screen. That will be how people can contact you. And if you want just the WhatsApp number on there, that's absolutely fine. I can absolutely do that. Um, I think it's been a really eye-opening conversation, and I think we've sort of explored things that people outside of our industry might not think about or have known previously. And that's the biggest purpose of all of this. So have you got any final words for my viewers?
I think it's just the takeaway. I like a takeaway. I like at least one takeaway. I think the takeaway is it a network marketing company? Just keep your eye open. That's the takeaway. And as the years go on, is it a network marketing company? Because you'll start to see them more and more and more.
And I think you'll get more trust that way as well, because if you're aware of it, it's like, do we ever see a yellow car? I guarantee you, when you go out on the road now, your mind will have thought about a yellow car and you will see more of them.
That's right.
Now we've opened people's minds, hopefully they'll see more of them.
Yes, yes, exactly, 100%. But look, thank you so much as well for having me on here. And maybe in the future we can do it again and we can just see how far
Yeah,
it's going.
I'm inviting everybody back over a period of time because I think it's quite nice to see how things have panned out, how things have changed. And we go out every 2 weeks, so yeah, people get sort of almost a break, but then go, oh, for him, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I will
And we'll
say, I will say that I every week I have a weekly Instagram live, right? And the primary objective is to show people of the world, everybody in our team. We've got about 10,000 people in our travel team, and it's to interview these people from all walks of life, from solicitors to taxi people to every single. why did they come on board? What did they use it for? What do they want to get out of it? And what does their life look like with this secondary income stream in? So if anybody is curious, have a look, because they're on my grid, and the one last week was with a lady called Caroline Hamilton. She earns £1 million, $1 million per year. And she's what we call a 6-star director. She's been in the business for 6 years. And the education I got out of that interview with her was unreal. She's the top 10 in the world from our business.
Wow.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So have a look at Instagram, guys.
All right, my darling. Okay, well, thank you everybody for tuning in this week, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time with more fantastic guests for you. So, till then, see you later.
Yeah.